Okay. Hello there. This is my first video ever, and I hope it's the last one for today because I've been trying to do this for a bit too long. So today we're going to be talking about CATIA and the basics of CATIA, the environment, sketcher for drawing 2D stuff, and mostly the basics of the basics that I wish I had somewhere when I was trying to learn how to use it at my school. So to start, we press the start button, mechanical design, part design. This is our place where we're going to be working the most in. Don't worry about all of this other stuff. It might seem overwhelming, but you don't need to know it all. I've been working with this software for 2-3 years right now, and I still don't know everything. I have something new to learn every day. Part design, let's give it a name. Let's call it the first. Okay, and this is our environment. The basics is this little tree, which has the planes, and it will show everything that we draw. We have all of these planes, X, Y, Y and Z, Z and X. Let's just choose this one. It's unimportant right now which one we choose, and sketch. This is our command to go in the 2D drawing table. This is our most important toolbar, which we will use today. We can move it around wherever we want. The best part of CATIA is that it's customizable. We can even rotate this. If we press left click, hold, press shift, hold shift, release left click. There we go. For some reason it didn't work. Okay, and we can move it around again. We can also just make it wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Let me just check. Like this. Okay, that's enough fun for now. Let's move it back. Actually, let me show you this. It might not be there for you. If it's not, then let me show you. We can press right click here, even up here. And we can see all of these other toolbars. The one that we're using is called profile. The first one is called, the first command on the toolbar is called profile. It's made to make lines, multiple lines, and some other stuff. Right up here, you can see this little table. It's gonna be showing some basic information. So we need our first point. We can choose it to be whatever we want. This is the 0 point, and let's choose the 50th point. And now we can choose in which direction we want to go. Let's go here. Here, we can also choose the length here. Let's make it 20. Now it's 20. We can choose the angle. Let's make it be 0 degrees. And we gotta watch out. If we move our mouse while doing this, it's gonna change our value. So keep it here. There we go. Another thing we can do is, while drawing these lines, we can do a press and hold, the left click, and now we can make circles. That's useful. Let's make it a closed profile. To exit this, we just press escape on our keyboard. That's about it for profile. Let me just delete this junk so you don't have to see it. We can just select it, left click and press the delete button, or press it and then right click and press the delete button here. Next up is the rectangle. It's used for making rectangles. We can choose the bottom left corner of this rectangle as our start point. Let's do this. And now we can choose the width, the height, or the H placement and the Y placement. Let's choose the width. We can click our keyboard button tab to choose which one we want to assign, which is much easier than just going with our mouse here and then coming back. So let's do that. Let's make it 50, and let's make the height like 100. When we do something like this, it will give us the dimensions. Instead of doing it by hand, it'll give us with the dimensions, I guess. We can change the values. Let's make this 70. And there we go, it's 70. We can move this around without this forming. If we didn't do this, let's try and make another one. And we moved it around, it's gonna just make the dimensions different. That's why it's important to do it like this. Another useful command is here. Let me just show it real quick. Constraint. In toolbar, it's called constraint as well. Let me put it back. If we press this, it will just give a constraint. And now if we moved it left or right, it will not change the dimensions. Let's make it a whole number for our eyes to concept it a little bit easier. If we look at this little arrow at the command, we see that we can press it. We get a whole bunch of different commands, which I'm not gonna show today. They're kind of a little bit more, how do I say it? A little bit more complex, but it's not that hard to learn them. It's pretty easy. You can even learn how they work by messing around with the software by yourself. Next up, the circle. If we press it, we have to choose the middle point of the circle. Let's choose this corner of the rectangle. And now let's choose the radius. You see here, we can change the value of the radius. Let's make it 20. And we got 20. That's the circle. Spline is just used for making lines that are not straight. As it to not try. We can change it a little bit. We can move it around. You see how this place is still standing on the horizontal line. CATIA is a software that does many things automatically for us. We can stay on these lines. It makes everything like easy. Like this is the center point of this whole line. This is the corner. If you want to connect, it says, okay, you're connected to this line and other stuff. If we connect ourselves on this, now wherever we move the line, it will just move that part. That's the power of constraints mostly, and also this constraint defined. Constraint defined is these little small things. You see it's in a coincidence with this line right here, this dot. When you make a line, it's like three different things. It's this part here and two dots. If we look at the tree right now, you see we've made the sketcher, and in the sketcher, we got all of this geometry, units, axes, and constraints in it. If we press this, it's somewhere here. You see, and highlights it. This is it. If we look at let me check the coincidence. You see, it's this coincidence here with this one and this one. That's the fun. That's going to be very useful later on. I might talk about this more in that future video because it is a complex subject, even though it's just two basic commands. But let's not go any deeper into it. Let's check the ellipse. Ellipse just makes an ellipse. Just take the middle point, how long you want it, and the radius. We can even make a circle with it if we wanted to. So let's do that because it's fun. Line, make just one straight line. The axis, it makes a line that is an axis. It's mostly used for circles. If we check this part, we take the middle point, it will give us straight, it will take a straight line up, and then we can do the same thing here, get in the middle, get this little guide, and we got the axis for our circle. If we want to move around and check our stuff, we can use these buttons here. It's called the view. If we want to zoom in, we press the zoom in button. If we want to move around a little bit, we press the pan button. It's called the pan button, yes. Oops, I deselected it. The pan button. And if we want to see everything again, we can press fit all in. Let me zoom in because this is a bit too far away. Last but not least, the dot is just made for making dots. If you need a certain point in which you want to connect two lines, dots are pretty useful for that. And that's about it for CATIA. Thank you for staying this long with me and watching the video. I hope it helped you because I wish I had someone to teach me the basics, the bare basics like this. Well, that's that. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.